Today is the 15th of April 1993, actually it's the 16th at Kunsan Air Base. And this is my jet here, got my name on it. So we're just going to take you on a walk around of the jet just to show you some things about it. Start at the front. Of course the canopy's down right now, but it's up, and I'll show you the inside of the cockpit in just a minute. But things we're checking here, this is in front of the intake, so you're checking to make sure there's no bolts and stuff like that are hanging out here that might get sucked down the intake. These are these are probes here to show the angle of attack to the flight control computers. Underneath here is the radar, which sweeps back and forth. It's the antenna. This is the pitot tube, which is out in undisturbed air right out in front of the jet. And that's where air goes in there, and it's for all your instruments and stuff for your airspeed. Coming down this side, it's the same thing. There's some backup probes here. Take a look down the intake. This is the for the General Electric G110 engine, which is one of the most powerful engines in the F-16 inventory. And you notice it's got a bigger lip. If you look at pictures of the F-16, it kind of cuts up this way. It's kind of a rounded mouth. This is a lot bigger, where more air can get sucked down the intake. If somebody was standing anywhere underneath this while the engine was running, that gets sucked up in here, this is probably the most powerful Hoover vacuum cleaner ever invented. This is a crew chief catcher, basically, so if you get sucked up in there, then actually it's not a crew chief catcher. This is for detecting icing. So that's where all the air goes into our engine to give us all the power we need. Coming down this side, this is the pin right here for the EPU, which is emergency power unit. If you lose your engine, it's got a emergency power unit that starts up using hydrazine, which is a high volatile rocket fuel. It runs this EPU, which powers your hydraulic and electrical system. Down this side, just take a look inside these doors here. This is for hydraulics and for the EPU. Underneath here, we've got a pod. This is for jamming other radars and stuff. You check to make sure it's secure on here. This is up inside the wheel well. Basically, you're just checking to make sure that all the things are connected. There's no hydraulic fluid leaking out. There's just checking the overall condition of the gear. Then you take a look at your brakes, and you can notice that the tires on this jet are really small. I mean, this is all the brakes we have, so it's easy to get hot brakes in this jet. Compared to F-111 or F-4, I mean, this gear here is just tinkertoy gear. So when you land, you gotta land pretty smoothly. You can't really prang it in, or you could damage the landing gear. Here's a taxi light here.
Alright, spot me, Ned, so I don't bang my head getting up.
Okay, you're okay. Boom. The standard configuration here at Kunsan is usually carrying 2 big tanks of gas, just because of our long missions. But normally when you go out and you fly air-to-air missions, you're not carrying one of these big heavy tanks of gas. This is 370-gallon tank, so you carry 2 tanks. So you make sure it's on the jet secure. This is the wing. It's not much of a wing. It's very small. Leading edge flaps. This is a mouth, but bombs can either be loaded onto here, or they can load up practice bombs on the practice bomb dispenser. This is a simulated missile on this side. The other side we carry a real missile with a not a live warhead, but a actual seeker head, but the missile is a practice, meaning that it's not going to come off the jet. Around the back side, and it's razor sharp, almost the flaps here, tanks and stuff are all underneath all these panels. There's a bunch of antennas and stuff in those jet, and just make sure everything's good in there. In here, you're checking. This is where they sample the oil and stuff, and you're making sure that all the caps are on there. Underneath here is another. You really can't see it from here, but
I'll squeeze over here.
well, it's not really anything to see but a door. It's where the jet fuel starter bottles are. You check to make sure that it's got the amount of pressure in there. We don't need a power card or any kind of air to start this engine. You just basically flip a switch and these bottles back here start the jet turning over. It's got a small little bitty jet engine that starts up with these bottles, and actually this little jet engine turns the big jet engine to get it started. These are big ventral fins right here, which just make the jet aerodynamically sound. And then chaff is right here, these little bundles right here. Looks like a couple of 4 bundles were dropped today. That's where the chaff comes out. It's little aluminum foil particles which help us break other people's radar locks. Take a look at the tail. Wolf back. Make sure the wolf is still there.
And make sure the wolf's hair is combed, right?
Then this is, take a look at the horizontal stabilizer or slabs, whatever you want to call them. These are the speed brakes here. Basically, they open up like this. They open up a little further, but you get the idea of how they open up. And that's when you're flying fast and you want to slow down quick, put the speed brakes out. And we use them when we're coming into land also to give us a higher engine RPM. Taking a look at the nozzle. This thing cools down real quick. I mean, as soon as you stop the engine, as soon as you shut down, you can come back in and put your hand right here, and these things dissipate heat very well. But this is basically the spray bar for that burner unit back in here. Underneath the jet, another bird's eye view. You get a good look at the landing gear. It has Tinker Toy landing gear. And you got the ECM pod, and then where that little flag is hanging down, there's a hook there. So in case you're coming in to land and you're landing too fast, or you've lost your brakes, or the runway's wet, or whatever, and you can't stop, put the hook down, and you'll catch the cable just like you're on like an aircraft carrier or something.
Where's the hook?
The hook is right here, comes down.
Over there on the right?
No, right in the middle.
Oh, okay.
Then looking at this side, you got speed brakes like we talked about a while ago. Same thing on this side. Just taking a good look at the jet. As a pilot, you're not really considered with knowing everything that's under these panels. All we need to know is that they're in place and secure, and we're looking for like leaks of fuel or hydraulic fluids, a big thing. That's what we're looking for. Around here, this is where they would have flares loaded under here. Flares are so that you can pump those out if the IR missile is coming at you. Just check these panels here and make sure that all the things are set in there.
Is this the one you're using?
Again, the other side of the jet is basically the same. So the gun port is back up in here is a gun shooting 20 mag at 6,000 rounds per minute. So it shoots about 100 rounds a second. So back up in the door right there is where the gun vents all its smoke and everything. This is where we put the VCR tape, and there's a big Sony, half-inch tape we put up in there, and that films all our stuff up in the cockpit. Back here, you can open the canopy. The canopy's electrical. And let me put the ladder up there. You guys can see this? It's like putting on a tight pair of jeans. The seat's kind of low because Costello's been flying it. He's a big, tall guy. You come on up.
All right. I'm gonna try to keep this on, see if I can do it. So Some
Well,
guy
don't
just,
fall off the ladder, Eric.
no, I don't want to do that. You know who did? Who was the guy that crushed his the safety officer didn't see this.
Can you get anything?
Yeah.
I think you're up too close, man.
No, I'm not. Perfect.
Okay, right here in front of us is the HUD, this combining glass, and all your instrumentations on there, your airspeed, altitude, all the stuff you see in the videotapes I've showed you before. And then here's where we operate on multiple things, from your COM, UHF radio, VHF radio, your IFF, identification friend and foe, with your squawk, different codes for the air traffic controllers. It's got a list page. You can set everything from the bingo fuel for bitch and Betty to come back on you going bingo, bingo, or you can set an altitude that you want her to say altitude to you for. You got air-to-air modes, air-to-ground modes, ILS modes. You can call up steer points, cruise page. You can call up the time, you set the time. And it's a little computer screen just right over here. You can't see it, but I'll show you in a minute. But that's basically where all your data is that you control from right here. Also, you control the HUD controls. And then right below that is your basic instruments, just like in your Cessna 152. You got your airspeed, your altimeter, your ADI, and your compass, horizontal situation indicator, HSI. Then on either side, we got two MFDs, multifunction displays with multiple switches, push buttons around that, and this is like a computer screen. And it's probably not focusing.
Yeah, it is.
Here's the gear handle, master arm. Everything's real compact in here. You basically sit back. So the seat's built into this, the chute is built into the seat. This is just basically a shoulder harness. Then you strap in normally. If you got a lap belt, you got a survival kit that hooks to your harness. The survival kit is basically the seat. And then you got these towel racks up here. If you need to, when they come down, you can pull yourself around. Just basically, you can see all the way behind you, behind the seat. The seats recline back about 30 degrees, and that makes it a real comfortable seat. And more just kind of sit back. You don't sit back like this. You're kind of sitting up like this. But you can basically grab hold of those towel bars. You can turn all the way around like I'm doing now. See directly behind you when you're flying. This guy's coming back.
All right.
Class, and just below that we've got the data entry display. You just basically push the buttons that you need to push. Just below that we've got the airspeed, altimeter, ADI, and this is all right between your legs. Here's a fuel gauge check thing. Multifunction display. This is on the right side. There's a standby attitude indicator. We've got a data entry display. It's a little computer screen. Here's our engine instruments, starting with oil pressure, nozzle position, RPM, F10. Here's the fuel gauge. Here's the standby compass that nobody uses. Here's a hydraulic pressure indicators and a caution light panel, liquid oxygen gauge, EPU fuel gauge, and cabin altitude gauge. Next to that, you got the stick, the TEMA switch. These are 4 position switches, a trim switch, which nobody uses trim in the F-16. Here's a pickle button, and then the trigger for the guns right here. Then back behind you side, you got the raw radar warning receiver, another multifunction display, and master arm switch, alternate release switch, the red button. Here's the only autopilot switches, and you don't ever use autopilot that much. Here's the hook switch, only autopilot switches, and you don't ever use autopilot that much. Here's the hook switch, you want to put the hook down, stop. Here's your 3 green for your gear, indicating that they're down. Here's the gear handle, right next to my leg. This is where you arm the seat up. Then below that, you've got some other switches for the HUD. Over here to the side, we've got this is the throttle. You've got a cursor switch here. To move the cursors on the radar, you got an antenna elevation for the radar. Here's your speed brake switch. Here's your dogfight missile override switch for when you want to go air to air and kill somebody. Here's your uncage your missile or uncage your Maverick. Here's your UHF radio, Victor radio, talk on. And then back behind there is all kinds of other switches that you set on before you take off. Right between your legs, see, here's my legs here. Here's where you pull to eject, and right between that is the air conditioning vent. Then here's you have to basically look down at your basic instruments. And then you just look up in the HUD. This piece of glass here, you got everything. And also some warning switches, you know, your warning lights and stuff there.